All right, I'll stop one more moment, just to see if there are any questions before I move to the next section, Sean.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move along to how are you going to pay. So let's say the whole financial aid process went along fine. You received financial aid, admissions offers for the student, financial aid offers, and you're at a point in the spring where you're thinking, okay, how are we going to pay? Your student has chosen a college, and you think it's affordable, although the balance due here that you're going to owe each year is $20,000. How as a family, how are you going to put that together? How are you going to pay that? So every family is going to do that a little bit differently. And I'm just going to give an example about how one family might come up with $20,000 to pay. So this family might say, well, the student has been working summers and during the school year, even in high school, and has a good amount of savings. So we're going to take $1,000 of the student savings, and that's going to be part of it. We as parents, we've been saving in a 529 plan. We're going to take some of that and use $4,000 of our 529 plan to pay. And then the college, because most colleges do, has a monthly payment plan. And that's a plan that's not a loan. The colleges will tell you about it. It's a way that instead of paying the typical way, which is to pay in August and pay in December, pay in August for the fall, December for the spring, where you can split out the cost over 9 months to 12 months. And so this example family just paid off a car loan and has an additional $500 in the monthly budget right now. So they're going to join the monthly payment plan and pay $500 for 10 months. So that's $5,000 toward the 20. And then this family is going to say, I think we're going to borrow an education loan. So we're going to borrow a $10,000 loan, and that would probably be a loan, in the student and parent's name, because other than those federal student loans that we talked about, any additional loans that you need are more like typical loans. So this family is going to borrow that loan, and that is how they're going to come up with the $20,000, so that the student can attend. Again, you'll all do that a little bit differently, but I just wanted to show that. And this is my nice little place where I like to say, the more savings you have, if you've been saving and worried that somehow you're going to hurt yourself with financial aid, just know that no, everything you've saved, you're going to be so happy, and it is going to take the pressure off when it comes to this point in the process. So any savings you have is good. And, I love to call these kitchen table conversations. Don't we seem to do a lot of our stuff like that at the kitchen table? So it's really important, some steps to take to really compare apples to apples, as we talked about, to make sure you can see really what is each school's net price. That's the price that you're going to end up paying. Um, we're going to talk about this Massachusetts program in a minute, but just to know that, let's say you got to that point in the process, this point, let me just go back right here, and this $20,000 balance isn't going to work for your family. It's just not going to work for your family. Well, there's some other things to think about. Was students starting at a community college save significant money? Yes. Um, and so maybe your student could do that. Get all those general general requirements out of the way, and then join a 4-year college. Um, you as parents maybe need to consider the number of children you'll be sending to college over the next number of years. um, Students probably want to think about, do I know my plan for the future? Maybe I don't, but some might. Am I going to be in a program that's going to require that I get a master's degree? Or am I going into an engineering program that tells me that the average salary of graduates of this program is $88,000? There are those around. That might make the student feel a little bit better about taking on a little extra debt. We never know the future, but just weighing all of those, that information can be super helpful. And then I promised I'd talk about these really good programs here in Massachusetts. So first, I'll just say there's the Mass Aid portal. That's where students can see their Massachusetts state financial aid, and there might be none. Many times, don't panic if you have no state aid. It doesn't mean you're not going to get federal aid and institutional aid. Um, and when you complete the FAFSA, it goes to the state. So that's great. That's automatic. But here are some new programs in Massachusetts that I just want you to be aware of. I mentioned earlier that some undocumented students can receive mass state aid and in-state tuition through the Massachusetts tuition equity law. So if that applies to you, if you know anyone that might apply to, please spread the word on that. And that those students would complete the MASFA, MASFA, and then they could take advantage of that state aid. Mass Grant Plus is a grant program that has been expanded, and it allows free or reduced tuition and fees for low and middle income students and a potential book allowance. So that's for all public colleges. So that's important to know. So an education at a public institution in Massachusetts these days is more affordable than it has been in decades. Mass Educate is free community college. Yes, starting now, community college in Massachusetts, and I mean just tuition and fees, is free for all students. So that's really important to know. Spread the word. And again, if a student decides to take advantage of that, that could really, you know, increase the affordability for you and your family. Mass transfer then is a program that helps a student who begins at a community college and then wants to transfer to a Massachusetts community four-year college, that allows reduced costs all the way along. So that's another option. You can check out that mass transfer website to get all kinds of details. And Tuition Break is a program through the New England Board of Higher Education, which allows a reduced out-of-state tuition costs at usually flagship colleges in New England, other New England states like New Hampshire and Connecticut and Maine. So if students attend one of those public colleges out of state, and the program that they're attending is on that list for Tuition Break, they can actually go to an out-of-state school for Massachusetts in-state costs. And there's a good website there.